I'm watching my awesome RoboCop trilogy box set, starting with the original, which in my opinion is a perfect movie. This film shaped my teenage years so much, I was way too young to watch it when I first did, and it opened my eyes to all the sins of the world, or at least of old Detroit. I love the way director Paul Verhoeven builds this futuristic world through the use of something we're all familiar with, media, the newscasts, commercials, TV shows. I'll buy that for $1. It all makes RoboCop feel so real, even more so now, nearly 28 years after it was released. This film still feels relevant to me. It portrays horrible societal problems like violent crime, the drug trade, mental health issues in government. These are all still things we have to deal with today, and we could still use a RoboCop to help clean it all up. Just kidding. Peter Weller, of course, is incredible as RoboCop, especially when you realize he really only has his mouth to work with for a good chunk of the film. Still, there's some phenomenal lip acting during key scenes, in my opinion. I also love Verhoeven's dedication to realistic violence and gore. That's what affected me so much as an 11-year-old watching this. I knew it couldn't be real, which prompted an interest in movie special effects that I think grew into my love of the horror genre. Let me know what your favorite RoboCop line in the comments below, and now it's on to the second film, which I have no real memory of. See you at the movies. I watched RoboCop 2, which is not nearly as good as the first film, but I suspect not as bad as the third. I don't know. I liked it, but only because it veers into it's so bad it's good territory. I do think that this is a bit of a Jaws 2 situation where you have almost all of the original people coming back for the sequel. Pretty much the entire surviving cast returns, except the one key person who made the first movie awesome, and that, of course, is the director. There's no Paul Verhoeven this time around. This one's directed by the same guy who did The Empire Strikes Back, if you can believe it, and celebrated comic book writer Frank Miller wrote the story. It was his first foray into screenwriting. And that actually makes sense to me given the over-the-top action sequences in this, along with the clunky dialogue and cartoonishly bad villains. It's hard to get excited about RoboCop saving the day when these bad guys are so lame. Clarence Boddicker would not be impressed. This is also the film in which RoboCop gets 90s-ified, meaning he is reprogrammed to be more politically correct, which was still a pretty new term at this time, and Miller, I think, has a little too much fun making fun of it. This certainly would have landed for a certain audience back in the day. I also don't love RoboCop 2's design. He looks weird with this unwieldy screen that pops out anytime he wants to show us his early 90s CGI screaming face. So awkward. And so now it's on to RoboCop 3, which was also written by Miller apparently, so we'll see how that is. Bad language makes for bad feelings. See the movies. I watched RoboCop 3, which was a lot better than I was expecting, though at the same time, not at all what I was expecting. Like Rob says, this one does feel more aimed at kids, though a few really dark moments made me question that feeling. This film surprisingly has the best cast of the series, even though Peter Weller didn't return for a third go-round in the suit, and who can blame him? Virtually everyone else in RoboCop 3 is a recognizable face. We've got Mr. Kruger and the angry parking guy from Seinfeld, we've got Mr. James from News Radio, Jordan from Crossing Jordan, not to mention Rip Torn, Bradley Whitford, and CCH Pounder, all incredibly prolific actors. And the story is actually pretty interesting, though I didn't realize this was another early 90s futuristic freedom fighters movie to go along with Demolition Man, Tank Girl, and Johnny Mnemonic. There was a lot of resistance fighting of evil corporate overlords in the fake future back then, but I have to say that despite a bit of a lackluster ending, I did like RoboCop 3 a little more than the second film, if only for this incredible cast. Let me know what your favorite RoboCop character is, and should I watch the short-lived TV series? I'm kind of curious about it. See you at the movies.